Welcome to our channel, AI Learning. And today I'm going to discuss about the one of the process of the chunking. Okay, that is called fixed character splitting chunking. So, why we are doing fixed character splitting or fixed length chunking? Okay, so what is the benefit? So, I have taken the definition here from the source, one of the vector DB. Okay, fixed length chunking is a fundamental technique to take. Okay, that divides large document into a smaller, uniformly sized segment based on a predetermined number of character, token, or words. It is highly efficient for pre-processing large dataset, and it's often the recommended starting point for the RAG implementation. So, anyhow, in the generative AI and agentic AI, RAG is in both RAG is implemented and one of the highly used. Okay. So I have already mentioned that the why we are doing the chunking. Okay, and this now I'm discussing of the types of chunking. Okay, the first type is the fixed characteristic splitting chunking. Okay, so first as example, I'm going to one function as well. It's a simple function. It's not like the real one, but it's a simple function. So every time we like it's a logic will be same, but there will be some modification based on the requirement. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I have taken one sample CSV file. Okay, inside CSV file we are having the information. Okay, it's overall means assume that it maybe it will be PDF. Okay, and what document, but as a simplicity, I'm using CSV file because I can use the simple panda and the showcase you how it will work. Okay, so I have created one CSV. I have generated. It's not created. I have generated one CSV file. Okay, okay. I will use as an input file. Input file. Now I'm going to fix length. So what I will do here, I will create one function. Okay, I will create one function. Inside that function, I will call that input file. I will call the input file. Then size. Okay. Then chunk size, and then overlap. Oh, here overlap. Also, I'm going to create the output file as a CSV. CSV. Why? Because as a sampling, just I'm creating the chunk. I'm saving as a CSV file format. And generally, and the starting period also, and now as well, if you're creating from a scratch, first when we are doing the chunking, once if you're talking more on the text based chunking, okay, we are saving this as CSV file, then we are doing embedding and vectorization. Okay, so I'm going to do that. So let me first finish the rest of the recommendation. Okay, so that I will go if required, I will enable that one. So let me snooze this one. Okay, I'm going to stop it for 15 minutes. So whenever you don't want suggestion for AI, means like nowadays everyone is doing the AI and they're using taking the help of the Copilot. Okay, so as of now, I have stopped this one, so it will not recommend me. Okay, so whatever I have to do, I will do my own, or I have to take some help as well. Okay, if required, I will enable it. But let me start that one, and later on, if required, I will enable it. Okay. So I will do coding. It's like even I am also doing that here as well. So I will do coding as well as with you. And if required, I will also take the help of the AI, where if I'm getting stuck or I have to troubleshoot more. Even before that, we are having the debugger. Okay. Python running with the debugger is there. Okay. So we can use the debugger and we can do troubleshooting. So if it is having the code base, large code base, we are using it as a debugger. But now we are using the inline coding, means like if you see here, we also have the GitHub Copilot, Cloud Copilot command line where we can initialize the init. It will read all function and do the debugging for you. Okay, and also it will suggest the optimized solution. Okay, so let me start. So as I mentioned, I'm going to create the sample, fixed character splitting sample based on the pandas. And First, let me import the library. Okay, I will go first. Uh, Importing the library. L library. Okay, so first I will import the OS, and then import PD. So why we are importing the OS? Because we want to check or we want to call that party function from the operating system. So importing that OS function. So importing the panda, why we want to read means either we have to use that direct function or we can use the panda. So as I mentioned, I'm going to use the panda because like more easy as compared to other one. Okay. So that is the first of the library. Now I'm going to next step. Okay. Step one, where I will, okay, first let me create the function. Okay, then I will go inside the step by step. Okay, so I'm going to create the function. Okay, define function and fixed character splitter. Okay, uh, it's just simple. So chunk, chunk, CSV splitter or simple. Okay, okay. As I mentioned, first I will use the file. Okay, CSV file path. Okay, then chunk size, chunk, chunk size. Then what I mentioned, overlap. Okay, chunk overlap. So by default, I'm keeping chunk overlap equal to 0. While inputting, while giving the input, if I'm not giving any overlap value, then it will assume as a chunk overlap equal to 0. Otherwise, we have to mention that output. Once again, output file equal to. I can mention that sample input, sample output. Or just I'm keeping it output. Or you seriously. Okay. So basically, there will be three by default. So CSV, one of the file path we are using, path inside that path, full path will be there. Okay, if it's there, we can directly, if it's a different path, we have to provide the full path. Okay, chunk size, chunk overlap, and output file. Okay, now I will go a step by step. Okay, first step, what I have to do? One, first I will check file is there or not. Okay, step one. Mhm. We'll validate file is, is file is e system. Okay, we'll validate file is existed in this file system or not. Okay, so now let me, if if not not OS os dot os dot we what we're checking inside the path. Okay, path and dot exist file name. What I mentioned CSV path file. Okay, if not there, then it will print we are using the we print that uh, error file. I can use as a variable CSV not found, not found. Okay, so first we are checking the file is there or not, and then we are returning it. Return. Now, next file we have to read the CSV file. Okay, now we are going to create step two. Step two.